As you can see, I've been kicked out my broom cupboard. I'm not in the usual location. I've been on tour, filming some over the board chess. Very excited to bring you it soon, but today it means I'm bringing you a quick and dirty Magnus game. A fun bullet brawl one. Played this afternoon, Saturday 23rd of March. His opponent, a 10-year-old. Are you kidding me? Fasutino Oro is his name, Argentinian, and look at the composure of this young man. Let's jump in on the moves. d4 played, Magnus goes for a modern defense, knight f3, bishop g7, e4 takes the center, and now very provocative from Magnus, he goes knight f6. We're back in a kind of Aliekin's defense, or Alekine's, never can pronounce it very well. The knight hits the center, c4 the most explosive move, knight b6, knight c3, and Magnus plays to undermine the big white pawn center. We see captures and more provocative chess from Carlsen. C takes d is the main way to respond in this kind of structure. Bishop fianchettoed and everything over here. But e takes played, opening the king. We see bishop e2. Both players castle, and now Magnus plays for the pressure. He wants to eliminate, soften this pawn. So b3 now played, and the point of that is to cover c4. Now after takes, which we soon see, rook e8, h3, bishop recaptures. You can recapture with the bishop, and you're not dropping on c4. And the knight on b6 is just a massive problem child. You're gonna have to bring it back into the game. It's way offside. So rook b8 from Magnus covers this sensitive point. We see queen d2 from Oro. Very natural play. I mean, this guy's just 10, rattling off mainline theory in seconds. We see knight e7, spinning back into the game. Rook a d1, more great chess. Knight f5, rook fe1, and knight takes. Now we see the rook recaptures, queen takes, and Magnus goes wrong. It's move 18. The 10-year-old prodigy has played flawlessly, and Magnus now should go knight d7, then prepare c6, stuff like that. But he goes queen e8, headed for the endgame, which he loves to do. And after captures, rook recaptures, he just sheds this pawn on b7. Not great chess, but still, how many times does Magnus go down material, come back? He's world number one. The kid is 10 years old. We see c5 played, knight b5, pressuring the newly created weakness on d6 and covering this center. So rook e7 hits the bishop on b7. It's not blundered, it's just retreated. a6 to get rid of the knight to then take on d4, and you can take here first. But instead this move is flicked in, countering on Magnus's knight. So he takes on c5, now knight d6, the rook pins, but this one's nicely covered. And here Fasutino's even up on the clock. We see knight e4 just calmly retreating, and probably Magnus should keep the rooks on, but then he runs into some trouble around the king. So he feels forced to do so, but it simplifies, helps the young man. Magnus hoping he can grind in this simplified endgame, as he so often does, but king f1. Magnus brings his king, both players marching in the monarchs. f4, great move, natural structure with this light squared bishop. We see f5 from Magnus, drives back this knight, but watch how Oro maneuvers that steed here. a5 on the board, knight d3, knight c8 from Magnus. He's bringing this one around to the e4 square here, and so what does Oro do? He goes knight e1, knight e4, prepares bishop c2. Just incredible maneuvering in seconds from this young player. He's up on the clock. Knight c3 from Magnus, hits the pawn. It's defended. Knight a2. Now we see g4, more great expansion, pressure coming in on f5, and so Magnus obliged to cover with his king. Knight d3, excellent outpost. Well, not outpost, but more centralized knight. Knight c3 back, knight c1, and now guess what? Just this calm maneuvering of the young 10-year-old has caused Magnus to blunder Fine, it's just a bullet game. Knight a2 played, but I still think it's incredible that a 10-year-old can just play so calmly and perfectly as he does in this game. Bishop b2 traps that knight, but now the king just runs over, as we'll see in a moment, to free the knight, get it out of jail. Now it comes over, hits the outpost on d5, the king marches, king c2 attacks the bishop, Magnus saves it, it just gets chopped off, and here he resigns the game, down on time, down on the board. Really remarkable from a 10-year-old from my point of view. Did I mention he's 10 years old? I think you get the idea. Apologies today for the settings, the mic, all that jazz. I'll be back in my normal stuff coming very soon. Wishing you a great Saturday, and for another excellent Magnus Carlsen game, check out the video on screen. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you soon.